Hello once again YouTube, and welcome to another video, and welcome to another review on this channel. I know we haven't done a review in quite a while. It's almost been and today we're doing a review of this album, Radiohead in Rainbow. So Radiohead, it's a band from England. You should probably know them by now. They had a lot of alt rock hits back in the mid to late 90s. Songs such as the much maligned Creep and the epic masterpiece of High and Dry. You know who they are, basically. Even if you haven't heard of the name, you probably heard of Paranoid Android. All those songs. They're quite a versatile band, but in the late noughts they decided to pack away their guitars and focus more on electronic music such as Aphex Twin and Daft Punk, that kind of stuff instead. Not many people like this, let me tell you. But in hindsight, they created one of the greatest albums of all time, Kid A, which still holds up to this very day, I'd say. You know, but anyway, so however, they ended their recording contract with Hail to the Thief, which was the most relaxed recording that they had at the time. And Hail to the Thief had a load of glorious tracks such as 2 + 2 = 5, and definitely had a more socially anxious lyrics on it compared to the other albums. Of course, the other albums had socially anxious lyrics, but when compared to Hail to the Thief, they were just baby steps. It was just baby steps. It was really trying to move my camera. Anyway, so they didn't need to make any music. So what did they do? Well, people could pay what they wanted for this album, and it was available online. You could pay nada. You don't have to pay anything for this album. You could just buy it for free. Of course, many people scoffed at the idea at the time, but now with streaming services, you can literally buy any song you want for free, or you will pay the artist. You could buy the vinyl now, but you can listen to it on YouTube and Spotify, and that makes this album very important, even though it's not the most ambitious album they've ever released. It's still a groundbreaking album in the sense that it gave us the business model that we have now. It gave artists the creative freedom to do what they want, and knowing their fan base will pay what they want for the song. So in that sense, it's still groundbreaking. But of course, we're focusing on the music today, obviously. The music, obviously, is superb, starting with 15 Steps. 15 Steps is one of the best albums, and I'll put my microphone down there. 15 Steps is one of their best songs, just gonna say. From the syncopated drums at the beginning, the luscious guitars, and Tom's frantic vocals like that don't even make any sense. And you can definitely tell that this is not like any other Radiohead album before it. This is probably their most like happy album, I guess. Well, it's got videotape on it, but most of the songs feel bursting with energy and colour, just like the album cover, because it's so because they're not relying on like sadness and depression anymore. They're now they're focusing on creating a atmosphere and creative landscapes within the music, and and it's their most romantic, because I mean House of Cards just knocks. The production on this album is superb to this very day. And I'm shocked that this is more than 10 years old at this point. This album doesn't sound like it's 10 years old. It doesn't sound dated at all. It feels like I've just been transported back to 2007 when it was released. The rhythm guitar on this album also is good. If you want an example of great rhythm guitar, listen to Weird Fishes, because Weird Fishes has one of the best rhythm guitars. It's syncopated fingerstyle rhythm guitar at the beginning, and it's just so amazing that I literally could not believe that humans could make this kind of music. But Radiohead are no mere mortals, you see, because Radiohead are legendary, you know. And Body Snatchers, if you like sort of the drop D grunge kind of stuff, I would say that's up your alley. It's definitely one of their most metal songs they've ever done. Until we get to the bridge, where we get a very what's the word? Luscious guitar melody going up and down the kind of sounds like a Furman in a way, like sounds kind of like that. And I mean, Tom York's voice, his falsetto is one of my favourite falsettos in all of rock. And I mean, this album just works well as a masterpiece on its own without the context of the rest of their albums. If you haven't heard Kid A or OK Computer or any of the albums before or after this, I would highly listen to this album, especially the live from the basement version of it, because both versions are really good, but live from the basement, Radiohead are even better live than they are in studio. I'm just saying, they're really good live. But and that's partially because these songs were being created from live material. These are, and they do that to this very day, where they start to play songs live before they release them on an album. They did that with King of Limbs as well. And I still say to this very day that King of Limbs sounds better live than it does in the recording, because the production on that one sucks compared to this. This sounds really good. However, King of Limbs doesn't work well for me. We of course have a nice acoustic ballad with nice guitar arpeggios with R-stop. Don't know how to pronounce that. Reckoner has Tom York sort of doesn't play guitar like how we like to do the full chord but he plays like one or two or three notes in a chord and leaves all that empty space filled by the drums and the egg shakers and the lemon shakers, and I have to say, even incorporates that into his piano playing, like on songs like Videotape. Videotape is either about somebody writing a suicide note or something else. Probably somebody writing a suicide note. I mean, it's quite a sad song and a sad way to end the album. All I need is somebody who cannot live without this woman in his life. And at the end, it goes. Most of the songs, All I Need and Arpeggi, all sound like when they get into the end, they all sound like they're going into hell. It's all moody and atmospheric, and then it starts to ramp up in tone and tension before it cuts off, leaving you without that sense of endingness. You know what I mean. And there's also Jigsaw Falling Into Place, which is another great song that just gets you hooked after listening to it. It just, and that mesmerizing that just mesmerizes you and makes you feel something you've never felt in your whole entire life. And I have to say, the band outdid themselves. Even though this isn't as progressive as other albums, it still is a pretty damn good song, and it just the sonic textures are still there, and any audio files. If you want to test out a new pair of speakers, come on, put that on. I bet this would sound amazing in 5.1 mix surround sound. It probably does, doesn't it? Because it already sounds really good with like in like normal mix, but I bet surround sound sounds even better. So yeah, I overall think this album was good. I honestly liked the sort of punchy drum, the punchy sound to the drums. And honestly, I think Philip Selwell is a walking drum machine. He's always on beat, always on time, never missing a note, and I'm absolutely surprised because I can't really drum. I can play guitar, of course, but I can't drum because that's like focusing on one thing, focusing on another, and it's honestly hard, and my hands can't do that. Somehow my hands can do that for guitar, but drumming, I don't know. So I'm always impressed when a drummer manages to keep in groove by himself. So yeah, I gotta hand it to him. Johnny Greenwood is just the way he plays off Ed O'Brien with his lead lines is always good, and of course Tom York as well. There's a reason why there's 3 guitarists in it, and Johnny's a great lead player and a great composer. He didn't compose anything for this, I think. He might have composed something for this. Some songs on this. Like, by composing, I mean, like, orchestra, not, like, write a song. Of course, he wrote something for a song. But, yeah, Johnny's lead, Tom's rhythm, and, yeah, and Ed O'Brien definitely likes to use more ambience. He definitely uses sustain and pedals in a way that no other guitarist really does, to create sort of a synth sound in a way to fit with their new era of like playing. And I think that some of the sounds he creates is really good on this album. Uh, and I'm really impressed. I really cannot stop singing this album's praises. Is this? I need to listen to this again. I'm addicted to this album, and no wonder they made a disc 2 to this album, because the other songs are good, but this album just flows naturally, and that's what I miss, listening to a full album by itself and judging it on its own merits. And I mean, if you're a Radiohead fan, go. Of course, you've listened to it, because all Radiohead fans listen to all their discography. But if you're not a Radiohead fan, I definitely recommend this to you, because this combines the guitar-driven rock and roll of their 90s time and their more electronic, more ambient music kind of thing of their 2000s period. So this is definitely worth checking out, and I would give this album nothing less than a 10. Yeah, I said it. A 10. It's a perfect album. I can't really see any flaws in it. I know, right? I gave this album. Anyway, so I'm done. This is my first review in like God knows how many months. So I'll see you all when I like waken from my slumber. Next time I waken from my slumber, which is probably gonna be like 500 years from now. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.